What's going on, guys? In this week's video, we're getting ready to make some cabinets for this Ford Transit. This entire wall is done. You can see we got the bump ends completed, no wasted space in this build. The windows are framed out. We have got the studs behind the wall, the furring strips, all marked with tape, so we know exactly where we want to screw into, and we're ready to show you guys how to make some cabinets. The reason why I'm making this video is because there's a lot of people out there that don't have an idea or clue on how to make this. This is 100% not square. So I'm going to show you how I make the pattern for this cabinet. And believe me, there's many a cabinets that I have built out there, especially my first build, that was not a true square. And I have since down the line practiced, and this is an easier project for me now, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. I see a lot of people out there doing their builds, and they go to Home Depot or Lowe's and they buy a cabinet that's already built. And although I understand why people do that, it's actually cheaper to build your own, and with a little bit of instructions here, you can do this. Now, I can tell you, I use 3/4 inch birch for the sides, 1/2 inch for the bottom. I use select pine for the frame. Hands down, I can build at least 5 or 6 cabinets out of one piece of 3/4 and one piece of 1/2. So basically, you're spending about $150 for all of these cabinets. You're going to spend close to $100 on one cabinet at Home Depot or Lowe's. The other thing with those pre-built cabinets is you're going to have a gap at the top because it can only go this high. So then when you come out straight, you've got this gap. Then you got to figure out how you're going to attach that cabinet to the ceiling. Now, I did a build like that, and I had to use like threaded bolts through the cabinet. The other thing is those cabinets are made out of like that particle board, the pressed wood, and it's not I mean, for van life, it's not the strongest product. The other thing is, because this back wall is not square, you're going to either have a crooked cabinet or you're going to have a gap behind this cabinet as well. So there's a lot of modifications, a lot of headache with those pre-built cabinets. Sean and I have this marked out. We know exactly the size of these cabinets. I need 57 inches worth of cabinets. I'm going to make that 3 cabinets because I've got the air conditioner electric system right here. I've got my bus bars and my kill switch, and I want the client to have access to that at all times. So this cabinet, they'll put a little basket or something in there. So all they got to do is pull that little cube out, turn that switch, put that cube back in. So let's get started. I'm going to show you how I do these patterns, and hopefully it's going to help one of you guys out there build your own cabinets. Let's get started. All right, guys, so what we're starting with first is I've got a piece of scrap 1/4 inch birch here. This was literally going to go in the trash, but you never know when you're going to need a scrap. So I'm going to make the pattern out of 1/4 inch, and then hopefully it will match all of the patterns and I can just keep using it. So I'm going to come down here where I want to start. I don't want to start down there because it's possible that that is not the exact same pattern as this. So I'm going to start here and make my pattern. Now you can see that is not a true, see how off that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a board that fits in between here, set it across here, and mark my line. Right where we want it. And it doesn't have to be dead on, but close. Got it?
Yep.
Okay. So then we will, this got a little bit of a curve to it. Oh yeah. let's go cut that. All right, so I didn't want to waste too much board, so I moved my line up 1.5 inches because I had room to play with. Now we're going to set it back up here. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be now to the point where I can actually scribe it and get it a whole lot closer. Go. There we go. Oh, that looks nice. That's gonna work. All right, so now you can tell this comes down and this comes over. So now I'm gonna show you how to get a 90-degree on this corner now. All right, so we're gonna use a plumb bob and we're gonna hang it from the ceiling because it's gonna give me a perfect vertical line. All right, so bring that over here. I'm gonna put this right here and do it on this side, if you don't mind. There you go. And what we'll do is we'll try to get it to stop swinging as quick as we can. Okay, scoot it over so that it's, yep, keep coming. There you go. All right, let's see. Now we'll just let it finish. All right, so it's going right on the corner here. So if I mark right up here where you're at, and then we know it's stopping on this corner, we put our straight edge right there, and that's it. And then I'll show you how to get it in a 90 from there. So we'll line it up with that corner right there, and we will draw a straight line right there. And then, so we'll cut this, and then I'll show you how to get that corner. All right, so now that we know that that is a straight edge, that's a plumb line is what we want. Now we can line it up with the bottom and draw a straight edge here. Now this is going to be a 90 degrees once we hang that up there. But I don't want to have to cut it twice. I know I don't want a cabinet this deep or this tall. So now I'm going to measure out how long I do want my cabinet, strike that line, and then that's going to be my pattern. So we'll line this up. We're going to go like 16 inches to start off. I think that's going to be a good size cabinet for him. Come up with that line. Okay, now we'll cut this on the saw, and that's going to be our pattern. All right, so we're gonna hang this right there. All right, we got a nice edge there, a nice edge there, and this right here, you can tell that's a 90-degree angle now. All right, so this one will come like right here, and that actually looks like it's gonna be the same pattern. Up here, there's gonna be another one. There's gonna be 1, 2, be one here. That looks good. Oh, wait a minute. Nope. The ridge line's changing here. So we'll use this same pattern, but we'll have to clean this up. And then these two, it looks like this one and that other one's gonna match. Which it's really just a little bump here, I think. All right, we got two of them cut. and cut just to squares. I'm going to have Sean cut them out, and I'm going to take my pattern into the van because the two that are up front are they're slightly different, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Oh, that's pretty close. It's a little off. That's gonna work. All right, so now what we got to do is we got to drill some crags in here so that the cabinet will attach to the ceiling and attach to the wall, and that's what gives you that strong hold when you're mounting the cabinet. So I'm going to crag these, and that's the next step. All right, guys, now that we've got our 4 supports made, now I'm going to measure, because you need to put some braces in between those supports to hold them plumb and square so that when you put it up there, they also use 4 good connection points, because we're not going to always hit, because we're going to hit here. There's no support there, but there is here. So because we're going to have those crossbars, that will give us something to screw to. So measure the interior measurement. So I know this cabinet is going to be 20¼ inches. And I know my cabinet walls are 1.5 inches. So you take your 20¼ and you subtract your 1.5, and that's going to give you 18. Hang on. I'm better with a tape measure. So if it's 20¼ it's going to be 1.5. It's going to be 18¼ 18¼ that ain't right. That's 2 inches. 18¾ 18¾ Okay, so 18¾ is going to be this brace. We're going to make a couple of those, and then I know that cabinet's going to butt right up to here, and I know this one's going to butt up down here. So I'm going to measure this now, and that's 37. We're going to make that 36 and a half. 36 and a half. 36 and a half. And we're going to have 2 cabinets here. And I want to make them equal. So that is going to be 18¼ And we're going to subtract 3/4 for this. We're going to subtract 3/4 for this. And 3/4 for that. So that's going to be 2¼ That's going to be 2¼ So we're going to subtract 2¼ from that. All right, guys, we're going to get these polyurethane. We're going to get the paint on them. Subscribe, follow along, because we're going to assemble these cabinets and get them hung in next week's video.